Attention, please. All prisoners are to remain in their work areas after the morning end of work bell. Mrs. Davidson will be coming to address each section about the strike issue. That's all, thank you, ladies.
But if they won't believe you, Jude, well, what is Mrs. Davidson going to talk about?
Will probably tell us what naughty girls we are and cut our buy-up for the next 6 months.
Well, they can't stick us all in the pound. It'll be standing room only.
Well, I'll listen as long as they don't try and soft soap us again.
Oh, Mrs. Reynolds wouldn't do that. I'm sure there was some sort of mistake.
Yeah, certainly was on their part.
Hey, Pigs. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm okay. It was a bit scary for a while, though.
Some of the others reckon that I did it, but you know I didn't.
Of course not. But you're in my cell, remember? Has Cass said anything about it?
She was a bit strange at first. She thought I did it too.
Well, is she still staying there?
Everything's apples now. Cass reckons she's got it figured out. I'm making out now to talk to her. When we've worked it out, we'll tell Judy and Myra.
Oh, but you can't do that because, well, Mrs. Davidson's coming to talk to us.
Just tell them I've gone to the
But
loo.
Bobby, you can't.
Oh, sorry.
Where are you going, Mitchell? You were told to stay in your work area.
Oh, I'm just going to the toot, Mrs. M. I won't be a tick. It's real urgent.
All right, we'll come straight back.
Yes, Mrs. Reynolds.
Right, let's get this over. Good afternoon, ladies.
Mrs. Davidson?
I know this is your recreation time, so I shall come straight to the point. I've spoken to the department, and they have asked me to put forward their new offer. First of all, they have agreed to the extra work activities, and naturally you will retain any profit from such work.
Pay attention, Aunt.
The monthly open day has also been approved to give you extra contact with your families, which you requested.
Oh, how wonderful. I wonder if I could invite Mr. Schumann, Mrs. Reynolds. I mean, he did say he looked on me as a daughter.
We'll discuss personal requests later, Mason.
And finally, you will receive a pay rise of 50%. Ladies, Mrs. Reynolds has campaigned very strongly on your behalf, and I expect you to repay her efforts with your full support and loyalty.
Well, you've got no worries about that, Mrs. Davidson. Thanks, Mrs. Reynolds.
Thank you, ladies. I'll leave you to it.
Right, ladies, everyone can move out.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Meg, I'm sorry to bother you again, but I forgot to mention we'll be having a visit from the German consulate. Mr. Werner. Yes, I think we'll be back from lunch by then, but just in case we get held up. Thanks, Meg.
Mrs. Powell not in this morning?
No, she did the night shift.
How is she?
Oh, all right, I think. A bit hard to tell with Colleen. She keeps her feelings pretty much to herself.
Mrs. Davidson, not leaving without saying hello, I hope.
Not at all. We'll be back in about an hour.
Good. I want to talk to you about the program, if you wouldn't mind.
Certainly. That's one of the reasons I'm here. Tell me, who did you choose to work with? Apart from Mason, that is.
Isn't it funny? Everyone seems to think that poor old Pixie's the logical choice. I wonder why.
Well, don't you? I mean, the reason she's in here is because of her marriage mania, I suppose you'd call it.
Well, that's close enough. All right, you win. I'll speak to her. Although from what I've heard, I'll need protection.
I'll just keep saying no. You'll be safe enough.
Me say no to a beautiful lady? Never.
Uh-oh, here comes the charm. I think we'd better go to lunch, don't you?
You wouldn't care to join us, Doctor?
I'd love to, Mrs. Reynolds, but I'm running behind on my schedule. Some other time, eh?
Mrs. Reynolds, believe me, if it were my decision, Gelschmidt would be staying in the country.
But you're from the consulate. Surely you can do something.
Unfortunately, the powers of the Undersecretary are limited. Besides, it is the law of your own country that forbids her staying here.
I was under the impression that East Germans could apply for refugee status.
They can, but Gelschmidt entered the country with a West German passport.
Yes, but a black market one.
Nevertheless, we are bound to honor it. Now, I know it sounds unfair, and I agree the woman is not a criminal, but at the moment it would be unwise politically to allow her to stay.
That's what it boils down to, isn't it? Politics.
I'm afraid so. Even if the passport was authentic, the slightest crime does mean deportation.
So we send this scared, innocent woman back to a living hell.
Mrs. Reynolds, there's nothing we can do about it.
No. Except tell her the decision, and that's my job, isn't it? Close enough to it, anyway. He's extremely dedicated to his work.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Well, perhaps it's just his manner. Oh, I don't know. I'd really rather not talk about it. I'm on dining room duty. I better go.
I'll be there in just a moment. Governor Mrs. Davidson is here to see you.
Oh, dear. I suppose the department's looking for blood because of that newspaper article.
Yes, well, this may not help matters much, but she has a reporter with her. A very pushy type. In fact, the one who wrote the article.
Terrific.
Jude, Frida slipped me this. She said Myra told her to pass it on. Don't let the Frida see.
Well, what do you know? There is a Father Christmas after all.
Come on, Jude, what's cooking?
They got Hannah's story to the press.
That means you won't have to go back?
Well, I don't know, but there are petitions being signed all over the country to keep her here. Myra said we'll be next.
I mean, we're going to start up a petition.
You bet we are, Annie.
Good idea, Jude. When do we start?
Something bothering you, Rip?
Just wondering how Dumbo there's going to sign it.
Oh, gee, Liv, can't you say something nice, just for a change?
Sure. I really like the way you held me down and fed me the dope, Kaz. Okay? Petition's my bum.
You know, Reb, I would have thought you would have been one of the first ones to sign that petition, seeing that you were the one that put Hannah in hospital.
Yeah, well, you thought wrong. Desmond wants me to sign that. She can ask me herself. Nicely.
Yeah, well, I reckon everybody ought to sign. What about you, Phyllis?
Phyllis is with me and she's not signing.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't need them anyway, do we?
Of course we don't. We just get as many names as we can get and then send it off to the dispatch of the Department of Immigration.
Brian.
Yeah?
What you got in your pocket, Brian?
I don't suppose you'd believe me if I said it was a doggy bag.
In that case, you better hand it over. We don't do takeaways.
Come on, Miss Ferguson. We're trying to help Hannah.
Geldschmidt is an illegal immigrant and she will go back to where she came from.
Well, what are we going to do now, Jude? We are going to get that petition organized pronto. We have one chance to help Hannah. I'm not going to let the freak screw it up for us. And I'll tell you one thing. Everybody is going to sign that petition. And I mean everybody.
All I'm saying is that our switchboard was jammed with people who thought they might be related to Hannah. I just think the woman has a right to know, don't you?
Yes, Mr. Lockhart. But what you must understand is it's out of our jurisdiction. What I can tell you is that with the help of the West German consulate, there will be an appeal made for residency within the next couple of days.
Well, it's great. I'll get onto it. See what the paper can do to help. This isn't just a story to me, ladies. I really care about Hannah Geldschmidt. And somebody in here obviously feels the same, or they wouldn't have given me the story in the first place.
Somebody from Wentworth?
Well, yes. At least she said she was when she phoned.
And did she say who she was?
No. To tell you the truth, the name didn't seem important. Not when I heard how hot the story was.
Well, we'll just have to make some inquiries and find out who made the call. Won't we, Mrs. Reynolds?
Yes, of course.
OK, now we agree we're all on the same side. Do I get to see Hannah?
I'm sorry, Mr. Lockhart. Really, I am. But it's quite out of the question.
Good. Makes a change for us all to be on the same side, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, I wish I knew who made that phone call. Then I'd know who to thank.
Well, I think it's ridiculous to veto the women's phone calls one minute and then give them permission to circulate a petition the next.
Now the article's been printed and the story's become public, the women have every right to their opinions.
Oh, maybe so. It still doesn't give Mrs. Morris the right to undermine me in front of the women.
Oh, I did not. I simply walked in and found you holding the petition. Nothing was said. Now, I signed that petition because I believe in it. And Joyce and Colleen and Joanne are going to do the same.
And I already have.
I have no one expects me to sign it.
That's up to you. No one's forcing you. You've got a choice. And that's the whole point, isn't it? The women choose to help Geldschmidt. Meg chooses to support them.
Yeah, and what about the department? They'll have to know.
Oh, well, I dare say you tell them if nobody else does.
Well, I think the minister should be informed.
Well, I think our news hound has finally gone away happy.
Good. Oh, I think Miss Ferguson has something she'd like to tell you.
Yes, Miss Ferguson.
Yes, it seems that the women are getting up a petition to plead for Geldschmidt.
Are they? Well, it's within their rights to protest. Who knows, it may even do some good.
But the department have to...
The department won't approve of it. Officially, that is. But we are quite human, despite the bureaucracy. We all know that poor woman deserves all the help she can get. I certainly wouldn't want to send her back. Would you?
No, of course not.
Used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside. and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing